They're chatting, they're bantering. For me, it's mostly been people ghosting me, so I'm glad that at least this time it didn't result in that. Okay, we got a theme of ghosting. I've got a bit more dignity than that. So far, so good. Did it go well? It did. Want to make a final effort to win me over? I don't like that. Not a big fan of that. That was stupid. That was stupid. This guy went on one date and suddenly he thinks he's the Bachelor. Dumb thing to say, because now you're actively playing two girls at the same time versus before you were going, hey, I'm gonna try this, we'll see what happens. But now you're like actively double dipping, and that just makes you look really stupid. Want to make a final effort to win me over? Because I'm probably gonna delete my dating apps otherwise, not gonna lie. I think if I have to make a final effort in this scenario, it's probably not meant to be, but I wish you and her a lifetime of happiness. Which, you and her a lifetime of happiness is very like dramatic and very like, whatever. I think this is like a pleasant go f*** yourself, to be honest. I think you're like, yeah, you and her can like ride off into the sunset, dude. And I think that's because he said this really stupid thing. It was like self-aggrandizing statement. Cool, good response. She's basically politely-ish declining, and this guy responds and he says, shame. You'd have been fun to pin down and breed. Goodbye, doll. I'm gonna go for a little walk now. Is there just a horn goblin buried deep within the bones of every man? Just a righteous little gremlin, just a little goblin, thorned up, just ready, locked and loaded in the catapult or trebuchet to be thrown at the nearest woman. I think so. I think the answer is yes, and I'm not excluded from that. I am one of these guys. Not like that. Not like this. Not like this. I'm just saying all of us got a little monster in us. You know what I'm saying? That'll come out. This was a misfire. And what a crazy thing to say. That dude never going to delete dating apps anytime soon. He might pause for a minute, but that's it. It does seem like he's trying to double dip. Because like, for example, what if, I wonder if he's kind of betting on this recipient to be like, wait, no. That sounds like a good time. That's what you want. That's clearly what you want, right? That is the only result that you want, is you want this woman to go, oh, wow, that sounds hot. Or why didn't you say that earlier? Your intentions, unfortunately, as sneaky and clever as you think you are, your intentions are, generally speaking, very obvious all the time. And so if you don't have good intentions, it's gonna read. Your intentions matter. Where you're coming from matters. And this guy, he ain't really hiding it. That guy didn't have a date. He pretended to be in demand, then came back to his actual persona to see if he could make it work because he has an alternative which makes him feel coveted. Yeah, surprised how many believe the other girl exists. Really? No, I don't know. I think there might be another girl. If this is a strategy, though, why you gotta be a sociopath? Why you gotta do a trick like that, man? What a beautiful message. Of course I'll text you back. I also think people should be dating in the same league. Like my last girlfriend was around an 8 or 8.5. I'm going to read this again and try not to throw up in my mouth a little bit. I also think people should be dating in the same league. Like my last girlfriend was around 8 to 8.5. I consider myself around 6 to 6.5. I had no business being with her. She was out of my league. You probably fall around the 5 to 5.5 range, which is around average, which there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. Not everyone can be an 8, 9, or 10. What podcast did this guy listen to? Isn't there a podcast called like the Whatever podcast where they just interview these women and they keep being like, are you a 10? Why do you think you're a 10? You're not a 10. You're a blah, blah, blah. Like all this thinking, this is so 16-year-old boy, very dumb thinking that is like a poison in people's minds. What a crazy, crazy thing to say. Ugh, God, I am so lucky I'm in a relationship. This is nuts. I mean, actually, no. If I weren't in a relationship and this is my competition, I'd be just fine. Also, you're negging, right? You're trying to give her something to where she has to qualify herself for you, and it's like, so again, this intention is like, what is that? What do you want the response to be? You want to be like, no, I'm not. I'm a 10. I'm a 6. I'm a 7. I'm an 8. Oh yeah, then prove it. Okay, boy, you know what I'm saying? What do you think is happening? I'm so mad at this person. What a stupid guy. I get it in terms of you're trying to figure it out. Somebody somewhere on some podcast told you that this is a smart way to approach somebody who has maybe an IQ of 70. This would work on somebody with an IQ of 70. You know what I'm saying? And is that the person you want to be with? That's the person you want to be the mother of your children with? That's who you want to marry, walk down the aisle with? Somebody who's cool with you telling them that they're a 5 and that they're a 6? There's already, or 6.5. There's already like an imbalance there. I am so mad. I got to get off this subreddit. Oh my God. I'm going to read the comments, but I'm going to read them grumpily. So to summarize, he's doing you a favor by offering date down and slum it with you. This is your big break. Your chance to get someone a whole level hotter than you. The real question is, will you be able to live with the constant anxiety and fear that he'll eventually find the actual 6 to 6.5 he deserves?